Hello, alright, in this video we're going to talk about effects. And since we were talking about guitar, we are talking about guitar effects. And just the different varieties of that. I have four different effects as of now, and I'll go into detail about each of them. I'm not exactly like I'm not an electrical engineer. I don't know how exactly um, each of these how each of these effects comes into play when you plug them in and hook it all up. But I will do my best to explain each of these in detail as much as I can and kind of give you an idea of what each does and try and get you on that kind of sort of track. So, first one we will talk about is uh, is a wah pedal, and this one is a GigEffects Mega Wah, which is pretty sick. Pretty much any psychedelic um, song, like most songs from the '60s, that uh, just pretty much any psychedelic song that you can think of might have used this. And I'll go into all these and play them all for you and show them like what each effect sounds like and all that. So this particular one is it's a wah volume pedal combo, and what that is, it's there's a switch on here that allows you to switch between a volume pedal and a wah pedal, and what the difference is the wah setting is it's just a traditional wah pedal like waka 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 waka, and then the volume pedal, of course, allows you to um, change the different volume settings as you like press and go down on the little foot pedal thing right here. And there's little switches and everything to affect like the resonance sensitivity and all that. There's on this one there's different modes for it, and I'll go into detail on that too. But that's pretty much the wah pedal, and then I'll go into detail and show you like each what this sounds like and everything. So moving on, we have a delay pedal, and this one is an analog delay from Belcat, and pretty much what this does is um, it's kind of similar to another one that I'm about to show you, but this one, the effect is pretty much you play a note, and depending on how the pedal is set up, uh, it'll repeat the same note. Now, as far as how you set it up, it determines how many repeats there are, and like the time distance between each of the notes. So it might be like da da, or like da, and then there might be like a long period of time between each note, and then da again. Um, but these are pretty cool to play around with. There's a lot of like echo delays, and that's pretty much what it is. It's trying to replicate the one note that you play, or like if you play a chord or something, and it's like a repeat, kind of like you like how if you throw a rock into a lake or just a little thing of water, and you have the ripples. That's pretty much what it is. Kind of that might fit, but it's a lot easier to explain to you like once I show it to you. But that's pretty much what it is. It's just a note repeating itself through the effect. And of course I'll show you this a little later on. The next one that we have is Distortion Pedal, and this one is the Boss DS1 Distortion. This is just a pretty generic distortion pedal, and what distortion is, if you've heard any hard rock song, any heavy metal song, any regular metal song, um, pretty much anything along that lines, you're pretty much listening to what we call a distortion pedal, and it really ups the edge on the sound of the note, and it really makes it hard and kind of gives it that toughness behind it. And uh, this one is also a lot easier to explain once I start playing it. So I will show you that one in a second. Now, the last one I'm going to show you is a reverb pedal, and this one is the DigiTech Digiverb Digital Reverb, and this one is probably the easiest to explain because reverb, if you go to a big hall or a big church, or even if you're in like a canyon or something, or just a big wide open space, and you like clap your hands and you hear the echo going back, and you keep hearing what like like over and over again. That's pretty much what reverb is. It's like making it sound like there's a big expanse, making it sound like a room, and or that kind of sort of thing. And there's a bunch of different types as far as this goes too. You can have it sound like you're in a tight little room, like a big hall, a church, and then there's a setting, it's a spring reverb. Now, if you're familiar with surf music, like Dick Dale or uh, The Ventures, stuff like that, that is pretty much the setting that they use, and that one, of course, is a lot easier to show you once I start playing it. But that is pretty much what the reverb is. It's just a really big expanse, like trying to make it sound like a big room, like you're in a hall or something like that. And it's a really cool effect. It's probably one of my favorite pedals to use because it's just like if you have it to a certain setting where where the note just goes on forever, it's a really cool and relaxing effect, and that's pretty much what I'm all about. It's just when I'm playing, just relaxing, kind of going along with everything. So, let me put everything back and set everything back up, and then I will show you what each of these pedals does. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm hoping that this one is a little more interesting than the past couple ones because I know I've been talking for a long time, but I'm just trying to get as much content to you as possible so that you understand it and are not like totally, oh my god, what is he doing? Like, what did you just do? I don't understand. Like, you're going too fast, kind of thing, or you're not explaining it fully enough. So I'm just trying to explain it further enough so that you understand what I'm talking about. And since we're talking about effects here, this should be pretty cool. Alright, so let's see. We shall start with the wah pedal since it's the closest one. The way I set it up is I have the wah on the right, then the distortion next to it, and then the delay, and then the reverb. So we'll just go in that order. Pretty much the wah is like I'll just show you. So you have your normal note without the wah, and then you have the note with the wah. Sounds pretty cool, right? Anyways, if you were to kind of mess around with it, you'd be like. Or if you're going to play a chord with it, you could go. And that's pretty much the wah. On this one, there's a couple different settings. I have it on the mega setting right now, and there's two different just basic wah settings. There's mega and then there's a cry. I have not messed around with this enough to tell the difference between the two, but sounds good. Either way, I'll try the cry setting out, and you can see for yourself if you can tell the difference. So let's see, let's change this up a little bit, and then this is the cry setting. And that's pretty much the cry setting. And then it has a trig setting, which it kind of goes off depending on how hard you pick the string. That determines how much of the wah effect that you'll get in the note. So we'll try that one out real quick. Okay, so you have the trig setting on, and you just and that's pretty much the trig setting. And then the last setting that it has is like an auto wah setting. So pretty much depending, it has a rate setting. So depending on how you set up the rate setting, it's how much like the time interval between the wahs. So I might as well just show you. So like it has a pretty fast rate the way I've set it up. So so it's kind of like the trig setting, but instead of it being depending on how hard you hit it, you set it at a specific rate, and then that determines how much of the wah effect you'll get out of it. So you can mess around with it like this. Whoops. There we go. And then that's pretty much all the settings on the wah. And then you switch it over to the volume, and that just determines like how much the volume currently is for when you're playing the guitar. So it's pretty much like another volume knob that you might find on an amp, but with this you can adjust how much volume is currently going through. Like you can, if your amp is a little too loud, you can adjust it to where it's like the right volume, and or you can kind of like quickly fade out notes like, and it's pretty cool. And then you have this little advanced technique called volume swell, where you hit the note with no volume on, then you slowly add more and more volume to it, and it kind of has a cool little, I guess you could say, kind of like violin sounding kind of thing, where it adds more intensity to the note as more time goes on. So I'll demonstrate that right now. So you hit the note and then let the, and then that's pretty cool like when you're soloing, because if you're doing it with the solo, it kind of sounds like this pretty much. And then that is the volume pedal, or the volume pedal side to it. So I'm pretty much showing you 5 pedals, even though I only have 4, which is pretty cool. Get your bang for your buck. Alright, so the next one is the distortion pedal, and it's kind of late right now, so I'm trying not to have it up too much, but hopefully the volume that I have it at will give you enough sense as to like, okay, that's a distortion pedal. Alright, so we'll try. So this is the note without distortion, and then you add the distortion onto it, and you can definitely tell the difference. And that's the kind of like intensity I was telling you about, and just like if you can play a power chord, you can tell right away. Just and it's just that raw, just plain intensity to it. And just power chords galore. And then if you know a lot about your guitar, you can kind of turn down the volume knob a little bit and make the distortion more subtle. Or I think you could probably do like a.k.a. Distortion Pedal. Okay, so that's the distortion pedal. Now we're going to move on to the delay. Now the delay is pretty cool. I have not messed around with it as much as I probably should have because it's a pretty cool pedal, and I'm just learning that out now. But the, the the delay is pretty much like how I explained it, where you play one note and then the pedal kind of adds a little delay or a repeat to it. Might as well just show it to you right now. So this is the note without delay, and then this is the note with delay. I don't know if you can kind of hear it, but if I mute the note immediately after playing it, you can kind of hear it. So it's like. And just depending on how you set up the pedal kind of determines like how many repeats there are. Like you can add way more repeats to it than that. And it's like dot 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 dot. So yeah, a little more repeat to it. Yeah, and then it's kind of like a reverb, but it doesn't have that like big room kind of sound to it. So you could be like. I don't know, I was trying to play I think it was this. Just kind of messing around with that. So you have the repeat on it, and if you put it close enough together, it makes kind of echo effect, and it sounds pretty cool. But yeah, that's enough about the delay. And lastly is the reverb, which is my personal favorite because it just has that like relaxing sound, and you can just mess around with it. I could mess around with it all day and just be totally relaxed by the time I'm like, okay, I need to stop playing. But enough talk about that. Let me test that out. So this is the note without reverb, going in, and then you have reverb. Pretty cool, right? And that's pretty much it. I mean, this is just the four effects that I have at this point. There's like a whole bunch more. I really can't explain fully unless I show you, and unfortunately, I don't have like every single pedal that there is to be out there. They have a bunch of different crazy effects, like they have a phaser, flanger, tremolo, just a whole bunch of stuff that you can just mess around with and make your guitar just sound ridiculously crazy and just make it sound way, way, way cool. And maybe sometime in the future I will go more into detail about those particular pedals. But other than that, that's just, I guess you could say, like a basic intro into guitar effects and pedals and everything. Or stompboxes, as they're referred to guitar lingo, because they have well, most of them do, they have the edge of the pedal where you actually stomp on it to turn it on, so that's why they're referred to as stompboxes, pretty much. But I hope you enjoyed all of this. It's pretty cool for me to kind of go through it all and just kind of mess around with it, get all these cool little sounds and stuff like that. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, and I will try and see if I can make a little video about it. Please leave comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And please join me next time when I make another video real soon. Alright.